What's good, y'all? Welcome to Ready Tape, and today we're going to be talking about the Raiders 22-23 season, man, because the season just concluded. It is now officially over, and we finished 6-11. Honestly, I'm not that surprised the way this season ended because a lot of major changes are going to happen this offseason, and just with this whole team in general, especially with the way Mark Davis is backing up Josh McDaniels. He seems like he's going to be the guy moving forward. So let's go ahead and hop into this and have a quick overview of the season. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all being here, man. If y'all can, make sure to hit that like button. But let's get right into it because we got to talk about the fact that major question marks are surrounding this team. And it's a simple fact that the last two games, we had a new quarterback at the helm, starting for us outside of Derek Carr, which is something we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, I think that Carr era is pretty much over. We can all just kind of write that in stone, and we can see if we're going to get any draft compensation for him, any type of trade that can happen, or if he's just going to be let go and we're just going to save that cap space. But as far as the quarterback situation was still, I don't think this is going to be something we're going to see in the future. Maybe we bring him back just because he could be kind of that safety blanket just in case anything doesn't go our way as far as a quarterback. And we end up just using him because he knows the system, right? And then whoever we bring in, he can help them learn the system. And if that person sits behind him. But after these two games, the first one against the Niners, I seen some habits that I didn't like, and it was the flow passes that he would just kind of throw up and they would turn into interceptions. I feel like that's a very bad habit that he has, and it's hard to unteach that to a quarterback. I feel like that's a very hard habit to break. So I wouldn't want him to continuously be out there. Now, if he were to break that habit, I think that would be very good. And I think a lot of those flow passes come from the simple fact he doesn't really look to take that check down too many times. He likes to stand in the pocket for a while, which I do like. He scans the field. He wants to look at his receivers, but I think he needs to have that timer in his head to where, okay, let me look for my check down and get it off. Because some of those plays to where they were errant throws, they were incompletions, just like where Derek Carr would have a different situation to where he would throw it away because nothing was there. Jarrett Stidham would kind of just hold on to it too long, and Carr would throw it too soon. It just seems like we can't just get it right. Jarrett Stidham does have that habit, and I hope he could break it, but I don't think he will, and I don't think he's the future. Now, let me know in the comments if you guys think he's the future. I put a vote on Twitter, and a lot of people voted him. I asked if you guys would want Brady, if you guys want to draft somebody. You guys let me know in the comments what you guys want to do about the quarterback situation because that's a huge question mark. I mean, let's be honest, it's not the biggest problem, but it is a problem, especially at this point of letting Derek Carr go. And I'm not opposed of moving on from Derek Carr, but as long as you have some type of plan. And I don't know if Jarrett Stidham is for the long-term plan. Now, moving on from the quarterback, right? We can address the biggest problem amongst this team, and that is the defense. Outside of coaching, that is the defense. The talent just right off rip. We got a Meek Robertson out there, our starting linebacker core. Let's be honest, our starting linebacker core was diminished. We had practice squad guys out there. Last week against the Niners, we had a dude named Langley that I had no idea who it was. I had no idea who that guy was. I'll be honest with you. He just came out of nowhere. I remember Bolton we had, but I don't remember him playing as much as this guy, Langley, that just came out of nowhere. You talk about Perriman's been out. Jayon Brown has been out. The only person, and Diablo has been out. So it's just kind of like, okay, in that situation, we need a solid linebacker, a young, solid linebacker that we just don't invest a lot into. Just in defense in general, we don't. But Roquan Smith just went for a second and fifth, which I would have loved to bring him in and paid him. That would have been perfectly fine, especially the fact that you don't know if you're going to be able to get that kind of player in the second round. Or even in the fifth round. Like if you drafted the linebacker in the second and the fifth, you don't know if you're going to get a Roquan Smith, right? So you might as well just send that off because it's proven NFL talent. That's my idea in theory, right? But we don't do that. We didn't get a DeForest Buckner for a first round pick. You don't know if you'll get a Buckner in the first round, but we could have gotten one and we didn't in the past. So we just don't invest enough in the defense for me to really criticize it too much, in my opinion. Now, we did sign Chandler Jones, but who really wanted Chandler Jones? I wasn't a big fan of it, and I don't think a lot of Raider fans, I'll be honest, not a lot of Raider fans were like, oh, I want Chandler Jones, that I could remember. We ended up paying him big bucks, and I feel like Max Crosby was the only one on the defense that deserved really to make that kind of money. Nate Hobbs can be in that conversation, but at the same time, Nate Hobbs this season has kind of taken a step back, especially coming off of IR. When Nate Hobbs came off of IR, that's where he really kind of seen himself not be the same way as last year and in this first half of the season. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was that time away from football, and most likely because when you're on IR, I don't think you're able to be around any type of football activities whatsoever as far as the team is concerned. So that right there could be part of it, and next year he could come out playing a lot better. And again, he started playing differently this year. Right, last year he was mainly just a nickel. This year he came in, he played outside and he played the nickel, which I thought was a mistake. I wish we would have just kept the nickel, but he still played good in the first half of the season. It was just after IR. And now, talk about safety. Merrick hasn't taken a step forward, and we can't keep Harmon back there. I mean, he's getting older, and we just can't depend on that, right? We need someone that's solid. You talk about a team that really invests in the defense, and take a look at the Eagles. You have Deron Harmon. Not Deron Harmon. We got Deron Harmon, but they get a Chauncey Gardner from the Saints, right? They go get a linebacker in the draft from the Kobe Dean. We get guys like Luke Masterson, and it's not an indictment on Luke Masterson, but you can see where the investment is, right? Nakobe Dean was a first-round pick. You talk about they went and got a defensive tackle in Jordan Davis, and they already have Fletcher Cox. So it just shows kind of that investment in defense, and that's something we just don't do. When's the last time we got a first-round defensive tackle? And I believe it was, oh man, I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm drawing a crazy blank. What was it? It wasn't Tommy Kelly. It was, I can't remember who it was. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but I don't remember last time we drafted a defensive tackle in the first round. I think Rolando McClain was the last linebacker we drafted in the first round. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we just don't invest enough. And I know some people will say, well, we got Cleveland Farrell, we got Jonathan Abram. Who the hell wanted those guys? Who wanted them? Who wanted to draft them? I remember when we got Cleveland Farrell, show me where somebody was saying, hey, Cleveland Farrell was on the board. I remember it was Josh Allen, Ed Oliver, Devin. I wanted Devin White. People didn't want him. People say he's a bust, but I don't think so. I think you can't make up for that speed. That is ridiculous, and it's just crazy, especially with mobile quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes dealing with Devin White, just having him spy him the whole time. I don't know. But moving on, we didn't want Cleveland Farrell. We didn't want Jonathan Abram. Josh Jacobs, I didn't want him, but he turned it out great. So, but he's on the offensive side of the ball. So you talk about the defense, and we just haven't invested correctly in that aspect as well. So moving forward, hopefully we will, because you talk about Dave Ziegler, Christian Barmore. Last year, if you want to talk about last year, they got Christian Barmore, and you can't be mad at that, because I would have taken Christian Barmore. I wish we would have taken him in that first round, and we'd have him next to Max Crosby, right? So I don't know if that investment is really there yet. We have to give him that offseason and give, I guess, Ziegler the benefit of the doubt this season, because he will have a lot more draft picks. I think we have 10 plus draft picks. And we could potentially get more if we trade Derek Carr. So really excited to see what this offseason brings. Now, we need everything. Like, there's too many gaps to fill, but I think those are the major issues right now. Those are the two major issues, and it's quarterback and the defense at that point. I'm not going to talk about the coaching staff, because let's be honest with ourselves. Why talk about it? They're not going anywhere. Ziegler and Josh McDaniels are going to be here, I feel, for at least 3 years. Even if next year isn't that great, I feel like they'll still be here. You talk about the previous two regimes in Josh McDaniels, in John Gruden and Jack Del Rio, JDR, and Reggie McKenzie. They each had multiple years, and we've seen how Mark Davis likes to commit to these regimes and these coaches, especially last with John Gruden, where he gave him a 10-year contract. And then you talk about JDR had how many seasons? JDR had 4 seasons before he got fired. He got fired halfway through his 4th season, I believe. So you talk about he got that long. Gruden had so long, was in his 4th year as well, which is weird. Which is kind of weird. So you just have to think Josh McDaniels is going to at least have 3 years. In that 3rd year, he could potentially get fired if it's continuing to look like if these first 2 seasons are bust, right? So I think we're stuck with them, and I think we just have to move on from that point and just continue talking about what we could do to become better and build this team the right way. And that's starting in the trenches. Like I said, we need to go get that D tackle. First things first, we got to get a D tackle. Unless your quarterback is on the board that you want with that first round top 10 pick, then I definitely understand. You go get that, you go get your quarterback. That's understandable, but it's not going to give you an excuse anymore to why the defense is bad. Like that right there is you ain't got a quarterback instead. So and if that quarterback isn't gonna become at least a top 10 solid, say top 6 quarterback, then you kind of shot yourself in the foot because now you may not have that elite defense that we talked about. So at the end of the day, man, I think the Raiders are in a situation to where they could build a lot. They have a lot of talent on offense. They just need a guy that could really get the ball to these playmakers, especially Josh Jacobs if he stays. Get a guard because Alex Bars yesterday just looked terrible. I mean, that was just disrespectful what he put on the field yesterday. We need a guard as well. So in the offense side of the ball, quarterback and guard, we can go grab that. Defense side of the ball, we just need a whole makeover, really. If our whole team is healthy, get a lot of that great depth, especially young, the youth. Get really fast corners. I would love to see a corner that runs a 4.3 or better. Get some really fast corners. We need safety. We just need everything. But let me know in the comments what you guys think the Raiders need to do this offseason because we have a lot going on. I'm not really trying to see all the fire Josh McDaniels because we're just wasting our time with that. We just need to talk about what we could do this near future, what we could do with Derek Carr as far as trade compensation or if we're going to cut him. Jarrett Stidham, is he your quarterback or not? He's not mine. I would take a quarterback if he's available in that top 10, and the only guy I would get is probably CJ Stroud, I'll be honest. And if he's not available, then I would go try to get defensive lineman, the best available defensive lineman possible. That's kind of where I would be at it as far as that first round pick. And let me know how you feel about the season. It was a tough one. It was a weird one. It was really weird. I think especially after Derek Carr getting benched and we know that we're going to move on from him. I think it's just different now because so many seasons we talked about how he'd be gone and it's finally happening. So, much respect to him. He did a lot for the Raiders, and he was really that guy that really, kept shit together. But at the end of the day, it's time to move on. So appreciate y'all being here. Happy New Year's. I'm gonna be dropping videos here and there. I'm gonna see how it is, see how it goes this offseason, man, because this offseason it's been a little different. It might be a little different. Maybe I'll be able to keep up, but we'll see what happens this offseason, man. Y'all make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter. Check out Redemption Band as well. Appreciate y'all being in. Until next time, Raider Tape.